I'm sorry, there was a, I forgot to unmute basically. So what I was saying is we had a fabulous session yesterday of peak impact mentorship. Six things you need to know about creativity. And what we learned there, in fact, a lot of misconception, a lot of myths have been broken. I'm very sure people who had joined the session have enjoyed a lot. And it was one of the best session, and it was very practical session, basically. So where Vijay sir had taught about creativity, how we can increase our creativity, how we can become more creative. So he said a line which was very good. The joy is always in creating rather than maintaining. And we all feel that when we create, or when we have something where we come up with a solution which is very unique, or we come up with something which where we feel here, yes, I've been creative, I've done this very creatively. That is a lot of satisfaction, in fact. And the second thing was, creativity is not about talent. See, creativity is a skill set which we can develop through practice. Creativity, as I mean, there are people who are born who have much more talent, who are no naturally skilled on the creativity, but still everyone can develop the creativity. Now there is a misconception about creativity is ki, no, creativity is basically inventing something or designing something which is new. It is not. Actually, creativity is basically finding a solution to a problem. And what he said was very remarkable. In fact, our housewives, our Indian housewives were or are a lot creative, in fact. Even our mothers were very creative. They use the baler to roti belne ke liye bhi aur marne ke liye bhi. So, so that way, if you see, I mean, joke apart, but then they were very creative. They could find out how to use the leftover food, how to use the other things which are there in the household for better purpose. So, to increase your creativity, or to develop the creativity, or to cultivate the creativity, there are six things, of which he had covered three yesterday, and three would be covering the next week. And these three, the way he covered was with the practical examples, riddles, and it was really no opened our mind ki how we think, we are how fixated our mind become when we face a problem, in fact. So the first thing what he said, ki creativity comes from observation. See, we have a lot of myth. The people who write the book, they are very creative. The people no, who write blogs consistently, they are so creative. The people who make movie, they are very creative. And this is not a myth, sorry. The myth is ki they have originality. They are originally, the entire content is there. It doesn't come that way, actually. He was giving an example of his mentor, John Maxwell, where even he asked a question, how could John Maxwell write 75 plus books? What answer John Maxwell gave to him was, see, if you think I'm sitting and I'm getting all the ideas and writing the book, it doesn't happen that way. If say I picked up an idea to write a book, a topic to write a book, I read at least 100, 200 books on that particular topic. I read 1 or 2 books per week on that particular topic, and then ideas generate ideas. That we have faced, I mean, we would have experienced in our life also. If we get an idea, the connected ideas get generated. In fact, I now remember when I was in 10th or 12th, I was preparing for Maths Olympiad, and my maths teacher, what I used to do is sit along with her and see her solving the problem. I never solved the problem there. I just kept on seeing her solving the problem, and once she had done that, all kind of problems she used to solve, and in the exam I just went and followed what she did. So basically, now I believe, I mean, now I came to understand I was observing what she was doing, in fact. So creativity comes from observation. If we keep on observing, then no, we get an idea, or we find what the person is doing there, and then no, we can find a different ideas interlinked with it. So creativity comes from observation. That is the first point he told. The creativity comes from experimenting. Now, experimenting is something which gives us the ways basically which can work, which cannot work. It gives an idea of what can work for us, what cannot work for us. And as I said earlier, ideas come from ideas. So we keep on generating different ideas. But what he talked more, which I find more relevant as a parent, was the children are inherently creative. They are really creative. When they are born, they are very curious. They try to find out reason behind everything, whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever they are asked to do. But we as our parents, we basically inhibit their creativity, and we bring them towards the conformity. Why that happens is, as Vijay was giving example of his child, his kid is around 11 or 12-year-old now. But then, no, you give him any mechanical stuff, you give him anything, he will just open and find out what is there inside it. After that, whether he is able to fix it, that is a different ball game. So he costs him around 35,000 rupees per month, basically, his all these experiments. So he says, how many of us can afford that? And that is why we basically tell our children, don't touch this, don't do this. Where we make them to conform to the norms, and we kill their creativity. So when we are doing this, there are only two things happens. Either they stop being creative. The second is they become rebellious, and become something like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or anyone else. So as a parent, we basically suppress the creativity because we don't allow them to experiment. Because of financial constraint, and there is nothing wrong in that, because everyone has some constraint in his life. The third, what he's talked about, the villains of creativity, and this was really good. The first, he talked about functionality deadlock. And before that, let me go to experiment again. He talked about a story of Narayan Pisapati. In fact, I'll paste the video what he showed us in the comment. So Narayan Pisapati, he basically tried to find out the solution to cultivate a crop which can use lesser water, that is millet instead of rice in Andhra. He tried to promote it to the government, to the farmers, but no one buy this point. So what he did now? He created the cutlery made of millet, and he's promoting that. Now, what happened? What actually he did is he tried to solve two problems. He was trying to solve the problem of less water consumption, whereas he solved two problems now. One is the millet will be grown that will consume less water as per him, and the second is the plastic cutlery. The use of plastic cutlery should come down, and the cutlery he is making are the edible cutlery. So you can use that, and then you can eat also. Or if you don't want to eat, you can throw, and it will get decomposed. Because it is a bit of the millet and all the natural stuff, in fact. So that was a really inspiring story what he told. And then he talked about three villains of the creativity. The first villain is our functionality deadlock. Those who are technical, they would be understanding what a functionality deadlock is, where two programs on a computer accessing the same resource stop both the programs, stop each other successfully from accessing the resource, and hence the program cannot run. Similarly, the functionality deadlock, and a very good example of functionality deadlock he gave is Titanic colliding with iceberg. everyone was focused on basically removing the moving the people, and everyone's focus was what? The lifeboats which were available, the life jackets, the tires which were there. No one focused on the iceberg which was there, a 400 square meter basically. If they could have taken the people to that iceberg, to a lot of people, in fact, everyone could not have been accommodated, but a lot of people would have been accommodated there. The people could have survived for long, and in the meantime, you could get the more help. But then it was a functionality deadlock. It was जहाज टूट गया है, अभी लोगों को बचाना है, लोगों को बचाने के लिए लाइफ जैकेट यूज करना है, लोग जो लाइफ सेविंग बोट्स हैं वो यूज करना है. सो पीपल वर ओनली कंसंट्रेटिंग ऑन दैट. नो वन थॉट अबाउट द आइसबर्ग, एंड दिस इज द केस स्टडी which he read on the Harvard Business School reviews. Then the second, he talked about the design fixation. Design fixation, actually, see, I mean, we all are culprit to it today. We all have design fixation. And a very good example, what he gave was, there's a candle, then there are some, what we call as thumbtacks, and the matchbox. Now we need to, mount the candle on the wall in such a way its wax does not fall on the ground, and the candle has to burn. So a lot of people gave different answers, but a lot of different answers which came in. Very few answer was actually solving the problem. Where you can use the thumbtacks tray as the base and mount the candle on it and burn it, and use the pins basically to hold the tray with the wall. So no, we actually think we actually see the object for its original use. We don't think about multiple use. The way I talked, the way he had told earlier, our mothers basically, they were so, or even housewives today also, they are so creative. They know how to use the leftover food. Next day, they basically use it somewhere or other. So that is the design fixation, where we basically focus on something for which the object is originally designed. Actually, we should see the object and we should see how it can be used in different scenarios. And the last, he talked about goal fixation. This is tremendous. This is really good. And actually, we have goal fixations. In fact, I realized after the experiment what he did, I was highly goal fixated. I mean, I had a lot goal fixated. Where what he did was he gave us the mouse and told to keep it vertical. Now, what most of us did was put a shallow tape or two-ended tape so that it gets fixated here. But then, if we do that, we will not be able to use mouse basically to do anything else. So my goal fixation was there. We achieved that goal, but we did not think beyond that. So he said, if you can hang this mouse by a thread and keep it this way, so you can use it also whenever required. So these were the three things, three villains he talked about. Three villains of creativity, or three enemies of creativity. What he talked about in yesterday's session, and it was really good session. The next session is again on the Saturday 9 p.m. where he will be talking about other three points on the creativity, how we can increase our creativity. And I'm really sure the people who have attended this session would have come out more creative. And this one point which I need to add is, we need to flex our brain muscles. Without that, we will not be creative. So, अगर कोई problem होती है, rather than asking a solution for someone else, let us try to work out the solution. Going and searching the solution on Google, yes, sometimes it requires, if you don't get any idea, at least idea will create the idea. You can find a idea, then you can try to find out something alternative which works on that. Isn't it? So that is all for today, and thanks a lot for listening to me. Thank you.